in managing the decisions on which projects to invest in, because I'm very fortunate, my deal flow is insane. I see everything. And I have to disclose, I'm a paid spokesperson to FTX and a shareholder there too, because we mentioned them, and big advocate for Sam because he has two parents that are compliance lawyers. If there's ever a place I could be that I'm not going to get in trouble, it's going to be at FTX. So.
Well, let's talk about that, and let's talk about the ramifications of it. But first, on a very personal basis, you spent some time with Sam recently. What happened?
Well, listen, I spent a lot of time with him, actually. We traveled to the Middle East. This is before these revelations were exposed. We were embarking upon helping him fundraise. He had purchased 30% of my business, and so as good citizens, we were trying to help him around the world. When the crisis hit over the weekend, I made a unilateral decision to fly down to the Bahamas on Tuesday in the spirit of helping. And so you caught what Brian was saying there. The original idea was this is a rescue finance situation, and could we somehow help, which would obviously help the entire industry. And then when I got to the Bahamas, it became clear, at least from some of the people that worked on the legal team and the compliance team, that perhaps there was more going on than it being a rescue situation. So when I left the Bahamas in the afternoon, I was actually distressed. I don't want to call it fraud at this moment because that's actually a legal term, and none of us know, and we have to leave it up to the regulators, and we also have to give everybody a presumption of innocence.
You never want a serious crisis to go to waste. And what I mean by that, it's an opportunity to do things that you think you could not do before.
National Security Council's Principals Committee meeting at the White House. Our scenario takes place 2 years from today, on November 19th, 2021. We have simulated a world in which one big thing has changed. In March 2020, the People's Bank of China launched a sovereign digital currency known as the digital yuan.
Frogged by others, by digital currency, by digital Chinese currency. Why? Because, frankly, our central bank has been slow. And there's an appointment coming in January of 22. The president's got to decide whether to change over who's leading the Federal Reserve. The Federal Reserve runs our payment system. And I think we need to move that Federal Reserve into the modern era.
We're going to a different economy, and we're going to be learning more about that as we go. But clearly, we're learning that things can be done from remote locations. We're learning that technology can replace people even more than we thought.
We're not going back to the same economy. We're recovering, but to a different economy, and it'll be one that is more leveraged to technology. And I worry that that is going to make it even more difficult than it was for many workers.
In Silicon Valley, and my friends who work in technology know that what we did to the manufacturing workers, we are now going to do to the retail workers, the call center workers, the fast food workers, the truck drivers, and then even bookkeepers, accountants, insurance agents, lawyers, and on through the economy. So what happened to the manufacturing workers is a very clear sign.
This effort. And China has big plans for this. They intend to seed their digital yuan into the global environment by giving it away to visitors at next winter's Olympics. When they arrive at the airport, they're going to get yuan digital wallets. They're going to receive digital yuan. They're going to use it throughout their visits to Beijing, and then they're going to take it back to their home countries. They see this as a huge advantage. Why? Because who controls the underlying protocols, who controls the underlying standards of the future of money will control the future of money.
Welcome to the Crypto Teacher. And guys, please like and subscribe if you do like what you're listening to. Inform your friends and family and spread all over social media. It is imperative that we get back to learning finances and understand how the world really works, because once we understand how the world really works, we understand that it is all planned out. Now, I want to thank those who purchased the books Cryptoteacher and the New World Order book. The New World Order book is going to show you how the world really works. And it's definitely time for you to wake up out of that sleep, especially in the times that we're in right now. I told you at the beginning of the year, in the first quarter of 2022, we was going to have an event that was going to bring us down. And then also in the fourth quarter, we would have an event that would bring us down. That's exactly what happened. And now I'm going to tell you, in the first quarter, we're going to have an event that's going to break us down in 2023. And then also in the fourth quarter of 2023, we're going to have another main event. Now, of course, guys, the markets are still going to be pumping and dumping until they get ready to pull the full rug. But I'll let you know when that's about to happen. Now, also, I want to thank those who purchased the 3 Kids books. It's time to get re-educated. And also, much love to those who donate to the Cash Shop and Patreon. And in my Patreon, I keep you up to date with the new Road Order events. Also, I give you the new Road Order cryptos in the Patreon. Of course, you have to do your own research. But this next bull run is going to be a utility run. So you want to make sure that you have the cryptos that have utility. And much love to those who are shopping at both stores. Keep it coming. And of course, guys, we get into Bitcoin and cryptos first.
Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel.
And guys, right now we have Bitcoin and cryptos flat. And with all the commotion, guys, do not forget we're the only game in town on the weekend. Of course, FTX has stolen the show. But guys, hopefully everybody see that FTX is nothing but a movie. They're just taking us through a simulation in order to get us over to the 4th Industrial Revolution. And we have this movie starring Janet Yellen, Gary Gensler, the Fed, the World Economic Forum, and all the big banks and corporations are in on the movie. And guys, you can't make this stuff up. Enron's liquidator to oversee FTX massive crypto bankruptcy. And we have the aunt is featured on the World Economic Forum website. And of course, the Bankman's FTX. And we saw all the donations he was making to the Democrats and Republicans. And then also, he was doing prevention of the next pandemic. And last night and this morning, what happens? FTX gets hacked. And guys, what do I tell you about hacks? They're always inside jobs. And this proves it. But guys, I want to make sure I prove the simulation 100%. And this proves it. And no one catches on to this. We had Scaramucci on CNBC. Says that he flew out to the Bahamas and was able to speak to Bankman. Now guys, if Scaramucci is able to speak to the Bankman, what happened to all of our reporters? We've been bombarded with all types of media, whether it's in articles or on television, but nobody's talking to the Bankman except Scaramucci. That was like when I was growing up. Nobody was able to find Bin Laden except CNN, and they were interviewing him in a cave. Guys, you can't make this stuff up. Guys, this movie is definitely entertaining, but do not allow it to distract you off your money. So guys, make sure you're paying attention to the actual indicators. We have yield rates, which we know the bond market was closed on Friday. We have volume, we have Tether, we have USDC, and then of course, guys, we have the Fed. Repo still over 2.2 trillion. And with this FTX situation, like I stated, it was nothing but a distraction. How soon the Fed is off the people's minds and on FTX. Remember, the banks are the master magicians, and they're staying focused on the 4th Industrial Revolution. And here's the proof. We have Citi, Bank of America, BNY Mellon, HSBC, MasterCard, and SWIFT working on the project for tracking and transmitting debt issued by regulated financial institutions. And the white paper of the Regulated Liability Network came out December 6th of last year, and I put that in the Patreon. Guys, that is very, very important to read. But we know the central bank's goal is to destroy this legacy market. That's why they print all this money in order to bring in the 4th Industrial Revolution. But we have to have a big distraction, and we know what that distraction is. We hear the drums are beating, and FTX is definitely not the big one. We'll get that next year. But as you heard Gary Gensler talking about the digital yuan, we know it's going to be the fall of America to Babylon, along with fiat, the US dollar, and the rise of the digital yuan backed by that digital SDR. And that's when you're going to have the CBDC take over, telling you what, where, and when and how to buy. Also, you have 3 to 6 months to spend it or poof, it's gone. The robots, algorithms, and drones take over the economy, pay each other with crypto, and the sheep go inside the metaverse. And remember, the crypto teacher told you, I give you the truth, nothing but the truth. Yes, the truth hurts, but it sets you free. But when I give you the truth, you hate me. And 2023 and 24 are going to be some of the worst times in American history. Now, guys, do not forget about grayscale. No change due to Veterans Day, but make sure you're paying attention to the actual allocation. But getting over into a little crypto news, we have Binance's CZ says the FTX crash has set us back a few years. Maybe the retail investor, but we know the NWO has pushed them forward a few years because this was all part of the plan. And let's go back to the plan. Remember the leaked document to CoinDesk. And who owns CoinDesk? That's right, Digital Currency Group. And then all of a sudden, CZ says, hey, I'm going to sell all of the FTT tokens, making it seem like it was just a political thing. And he said that Sam called him. So he thought Sam just wanted to do an OTC. Now we know Binance only had $580 million worth of FTT to sell. So we know Sam Bankman-Fried could have easily plugged that hole. And it's not like we can't see the investors, Sequoia, BlackRock, SoftBank, some of the biggest corporations, all these billionaires. This was all a show, especially when you get Scaramucci say, hey, we can't call it fraud. I can't find not one mainstream media show or article that talked bad about Sam Bankman-Fried since this has begun. Not one bad word. Not calling him a criminal, not calling him a fraudster, not saying he should be in prison or jail, none of that. And guys, we know why. Now we have GameStop to end FTX ties. Also, we have the Heat to rename the stadium. And lastly, guys, we have Janet Yellen, of course, is doing what? Calling for crypto regulation. And you guys know I tell you the steps of how the New World Order moves. I tell you who the puppets are. So therefore, you know, when it comes to the New World Order, it's all planned out. But guys, all I have for you, don't forget about the books, Cryptoteacher and the New World Order book, plus the 3 kids books. It's time to re-educate. Also, new to cryptos, Coinbase, Bitrue, Binance. Do not forget book links and crypto links are in the description. The stock channel, guys. Make sure you go like, subscribe, spread everywhere. Videos will be back on Monday just because of this FTX situation. But guys, don't forget about you have your Kobo, your chip stocks, your banking, your gaming. While everybody's sitting at home, get home stocks. To see where the biotech stocks. And while everybody's at home wishing, they were still getting that free money. What are they doing? Drinking and smoking weed. Don't forget about those stocks and you have a wonderful day. The most powerful person in the world is the storyteller. The storyteller sets the vision, values, and agenda of an entire generation to come. Steve Jobs. And guys, you know I truly believe in this. When you look at the New World Order, they're the storytellers. And that's the reason why I wrote my New World Order book. But guys, now it's time to change the current generation. And I wrote 3 kids books. You know I love the Trinity because I understand the power that's in it. So I have 3 books. We have an opportunity to change the generation, to educate, not just me, but I want to show you that I take action on a daily basis. And I want you to take action on a daily basis. Whether it's your job, whether it's in your community, we have an opportunity right now to educate the masses. I posted this on my Twitter account. Please share, but this is a short clip of the 3 books. There's going to be a clothing line and action figures. Please get these books for your kids, nephews, cousins, friends, so therefore we can start the re-education now. Because as we see, the 4th Industrial Revolution foundation is definitely here. Robots, algorithms, drones, taking humanity out the picture. We have to re-educate. But let's get into the video.
Part 1. King Joshua and Drama Team Save the Village. Part 2. King Joshua and Drama Team Save New York.
it's mandatory to get part 1, part 2, and part 3 of this series. It's time to re-educate Generation Z.